Hello and welcome to another tutorial on my channel Create by K. My hook size is 3.5 millimeter. I start with my slip knot and I chain multiple of 3 plus 1. 1, 2, 3. Again 1, 2, 3. Repeat the 3 chains and one more. For row 1, I go in each chain and make a loop and keep the loop on my hook. I go with my fingers right there where is the chains, and I just like to do this way excuse me, I know they are the same high. Then I go with my finger right there to keep them, and I move to the next chain, and again I go right there and I do this, and they the same high. Go with my finger and move to the next one. And now, to complete row 1, what I do is, if you notice the last loop is always gonna be short. So to make sure that one is not gonna be short, because if it's gonna be short in each row, it's gonna be your work is gonna be short here or tight here, and here is gonna be normal, and then it's gonna be something like that. So to not have that problem, when I close, I make sure all the time this is long like the other ones. I go with my fingers right there to keep it like this, and then I grab the yarn and I pull through. And then this loop, again all the time, I want them to be loose, and I grab the yarn and I pull through that loop and the next loop on my hook. Lose this loop, grab the yarn, pull through, and the next loop on my hook, and like this all the way. Because I go with 2 colors, and right here I will stop like this. Here I supposed to take the yarn and pull through the last 2 loops right here. So I will do that with a different color. Just grab the new color and I pull through and close this loop. Okay, now for row 2, make sure this loop is long, and this belongs to the first loop right here. Then I go to the next one, which is this one. Hope you can see it. I don't know how to keep my work. So I go like this to the next one and I make a loop, have 2 loops, then I go to the next one, make another loop, to the next one, and 1 more. Now I have 5 loops on my hook. You see, I did this to make sure they're the same height. And now what I do is I skip the 2 loops, the first 2 loops. Then I have the 3, and what I do is I go with my fingers on the 2 loops right here, keep them with my hook and pull through this loop right there. And I have the 2 loops here. Then again I go and make 3 loops, 1, 2, and 3, and I do what I did here. I pull through that loop right there. I have the 2 loops right there. Again, I will have the 3 loops on my hook. And then pull through right there. Like this, all the way. And now I have my last 2 loops. Right here I just go normal and make a loop, but on the last one I go on this loop, and then I see it's another one right here, so I go in both of them and make a loop. To complete row 2, I make sure my last loop is the same height like the other ones. I go with my fingers right there, and then I grab the yarn and I pull through that loop. Then this loop right here, I don't want it too tight, and then I grab the yarn and pull through that loop and the next loop from my hook. Then again this loop not too tight, grab the yarn, pull through that loop and the next loop from my hook, pull through the next loop on my hook. Between each of them, between right here, right there, right there, I will chain 1, and then I grab the yarn, pull through that one and my next loop from my hook. Then again I grab the yarn, pull through that and the next loop on my hook. Again I'm between, and here I chain 1, then I grab the yarn, pull through that loop and the next one, that loop and the next one, and I repeat. And right here pull through that loop and the next one, and I stop because I go with the other yarn. If you want just one color, you keep going with the color in the same way how I do it with this color. So I grab that color and then pull through my loops. For row 3, I lose the first loop just a little bit, and then I go to the second loop, make a loop, and right here in this space go and make a loop, and then one more on this loop. I have 4 loops on my hook. The first one, I will skip that one, and now what I do is the 2 from here I pull through right there. And I have the 2 loops. Then I go on this loop, make a loop, on the space, make a loop, and one more right here. I have the 3 loops, and I pull through right there, and I have the 2 loops right there. Again, I repeat, I need the 3 loops, and I pull through right there. 3 loops, and pull through right there. Okay, now here I have the last one. I need the 3 loops, 1, 2, and between here it's going to be the 3rd loop, and I pull through right there. And then I have a loop here, so I will need a loop right here. So I go on this loop, and then I see that one right there, and I make a loop. To complete the row 3, again I make sure this loop, the last loop, is long enough. Then I pull through right there and grab the yarn, pull through that loop and the next loop from my hook, that loop and the next one, and between I go with 1 chain, then grab the yarn, pull through that loop and the next loop, that loop and the next one, then here I chain 1, then I pull through the loops, I chain 1, I pull through my loops, chain 1, pull through my loops. Grab the yarn and I pull through right there. 2 loops on my hook, I change the color. And now I repeat row 2 with this color, and then I repeat row 3 with the other colors. And I keep repeating the row 2 and 3.